Over a decade after the grooming gang scandal shocked the nation, plans to tackle the crisis are finally being delivered.
The fact that grooming gangs are preying on young people is a huge failing, both morally and practically. Now,
Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and Home Secretary Suella Braverman have released a new raft of policies, including funding for a new NCA-supported police task force, the mandatory reporting of child abuse, and a renewed focus on the collection of the ethnicity data of abusers.
Specialist police officers are going to be able to be sent into communities using the expert techniques to help us cramp down on these crimes. They're also going to have a specialist team of data analysts working with them, because we know that better use of data can help uncover hidden exploitation.
The announcement comes after a GB News Investigates documentary found that the grooming gangs were still operating throughout Britain. Many of the policies recommended in the film are now set to become law. In Rochdale, the Home Secretary spoke with survivors before attending a meeting with police officers and child abuse specialists.
Morning, Home Secretary Sarah Jackson, Chief Officer for Crime Vulnerability.
It's clear that this has been a scandal that has gone on for far too long. Vulnerable girls in troubling circumstances have been dismissed, have been ignored when they have justifiably complained about sexual abuse, exploitation, being drugged or being raped. And there has been a failure on the part of state agencies, social workers, teachers, the police, to take seriously those concerns. It's on the back of this challenge and real problem, which is ingrained in some of our institutions, that the Prime Minister and I have now announced a series of package which take us forward, which will ensure that there's now a mandatory duty on child safeguarding professionals to report when they have concerns.
The Home Secretary told GB News that she hoped her new reforms would bring accountability and more justice to the system of dealing with grooming gangs. But we also spoke to some survivors and campaigners who had a more cautious optimism about the proposals.
I think that it was a good step in the right direction. We needed somebody from the top to acknowledge the failures what have been happening.
It is a promising sign, but it's whether or not they commit and actually do this, and whether or not what their new plans are actually take effect and make a difference to the people.
I've said frequently that I think the NCA are the best people to do the job. You know, they're victim focused, they know how to treat victims, they understand the problem and the processes, and very, very good at signposting for help and stuff like that.
I'm cautiously optimistic, but words are very easy. Rhetoric costs nothing. I want to see action following the rhetoric. You know, I have heard promises like this many times over the past 10 years. I have to say that was a welcome opportunity to have a frank conversation with them. I brought 3 victims who were able to very clearly state where the failures in the system have been. So all I can say is that we made it very clear that the words themselves will not bring about the changes. We need extra resources, we need extra commitment, we need accountability when there's failures. You know, where is this task force going to come from, for instance? Because police officers are walking away from police forces in their droves.
Thank you very much. All the best.
Bold plans and big promises. Thousands of survivors and campaigners will now wait to see if the government can follow their words with actions. Charlie Peters, GB News, Rochdale.